Hi, welcome to Revive Ministries podcast. Today we are continuing the discussion about springing forward to wellness. Today I have a new guest all the way from Poland, of all places, and I'm just excited to have her. Her name is Veronica, and welcome, Veronica, and being a part of this. And thank you, because I know that being a guest is not always easy, but thank you again, Veronica.
Hi everyone, thank you Robert for having me. It's an honor to be here. I also want to thank your wife Joanne, who showed me the Revive Ministries website and those podcasts.
I always like how how people just find my podcast in various different ways. I recorded just last week someone from Palestine, which was interesting, and I'm just encouraged and very grateful for all the people listening and all those who are wanting to continue the dialogue when it comes to recovery and wellness. Before I begin, I want to start with a disclaimer. If you are in crisis, I I encourage you to seek professional help. In the US, it's 1-800-273-8255. It's a National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. I encourage all those who are listening around the world to find what resources you do have. And with that being said, a lot of people who listen to this know that I love quotes. So, Veronica, this is no different. I start off with a quote. I want you to hear the quote, hear how it reads to you personally, and what lessons do you think we can learn from this quote? And it's from Ralph Waldo Emerson, and it says, "Our greatest glory is not never failing, but in rising up every time we fail."
Wow, I love this quote. I think that's the point of being a human, that we have a right to fail, and it's normal. We all make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
But what is amazing, we always have a chance to rise up.
Yes.
If even though it demands courage, maybe incredible effort, strength, but
Mm-hmm.
it's our greatest glory when we finally rise up and take a step forward. Many people actually have a problem with finding hope after failing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's okay. I think it's okay. You need some time to process everything, what
Yes.
happened. But I think rising up is also connected with finding goals,
Mm-hmm.
even the smallest ones.
Mm.
You need to refresh your direction. You need to realize that you're a unique human being
Mm.
and you are here for a reason.
Yes.
Maybe it was planned for you to gain new energy, strength, and
Mm.
become a new person,
Mm.
with full of new experience, and new person who is stronger, resilient. And I also want to tell you that I am proud of you. Even you don't know what to do next. You rose up, and
Yeah.
you are a hero because you didn't let the others destroy you.
One of the things, when you were saying all that, was thinking of one of my. I loved Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein, he had this one quote. He says, "The measure of intelligence is the ability to change." A lot of
Yeah,
change. So one constant is change, and I remember, just hearing you talk. I remember as a child failing many times. I actually look at these failures as one of the things, the reasons the way I am, the way I am. I remember I used to
yeah,
think I could sing, and I went to like this, auditioned and I got in, but I realized how bad I was compared to everyone else. I used to think I could run. I saw how slow I was, but the thing was, it built my character. Realize that things in life, you grow from these failures. You grow, you move past it, and I just like how purpose was part of your what you were asked. I don't know if you read or heard about Viktor Frankl. He was in a concentration camp in I think Auschwitz. I read his book, Man Finding Meaning, and the
mm-hmm.
wonderful thing is that he said, "Oh, the deplority what happened with all the Jewish people and who were in the concentration camp." He said the people who survived were the people who had hope, the people who had a
Yeah,
why in their life. Because he says the why of the was it um, when you know the why, the how gets bearable. The purpose of why you do what you do. So I encourage. I like what you mentioned there. When we talk about spring forward, it sounds so dramatic. It sounds like the springing
yeah,
forward sounds like a big, but sometimes in life, springing forward can be very small. There's a quote I want you to listen to and share your insight, and it's I'll just read it, and then you could. It says, "Courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is the quiet voice at the end of the day saying, 'I will try again tomorrow.'" Mary Ann Radmacher. So, what do
yeah.
you?
This quote actually realizes me that courage has a lot of meanings.
Mm-hmm.
And let's imagine something. We have a firefighter who
Mm-hmm.
risks his life every day
Yeah.
for saving other people's life. And we
Yes.
also have a person with depression who decided not to take his own life like
Yes.
a couple minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I am just asking who has more courage, and many people will say firefighter, but
Yes.
I want to say that these both situations demands the same courage.
Mm-hmm.
The second one even more.
Yeah.
I think that this is the quiet voice
Mm-hmm.
we 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 don't hear or we don't want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the willingness to try despite many difficulties is a courage for me.
I don't know. Nelson Mandela said it this way: "I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. A brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear." The thing is, we're gonna like courage does is not the absence of fear, and I think that's where it gets confusing. There's this line of being reckless. Some people may have like they'll just go out and do a lot of dangerous stuff. Is that courage? Or I feel you made a good point that someone who stopped themselves from maybe taking their life, they realize how scared they are. They realize the uncertainty, realize the pain, but they continue. They're that quiet voice saying, "I will try again tomorrow." And
Yeah,
hopefully they get the care, and the professional help they need, because that in crisis situations, a lot of times you can't do it on your own, and the connections do matter around you. The support around you does matter. But I do like that, and that really segues to like that 2020 has been uniquely challenging for everyone. I was talking, like I said, I talked to someone from Palestine the other previously, and it's just a totally different world. she says, in United States, you can mental health, and we talked about stigma the whole time, and
Mm-hmm.
it's very different in our own little bubbles what stigma looks like, and over there's a lot like, and for me, 2020 kind of, I think, brought up some things that we uniquely kind of said to ourselves we took for granted. Like I'm
Yeah.
missing face to face and all that stuff, but like the challenges are different for everyone, and that's what I'm gonna ask you right now. Because we're gonna. I was talking about we could convince ourselves to not do anything. Like I'm surprised, especially with this COVID-19, how many like excuses I make excuses for myself. I'm asking you right now, and this is where I'm leading to. What have you learned through all this that might be helpful to someone listening, thinking about turning away from moving forward? We talked about mistakes before. We talked about courage. That sometimes it's not loud. Sometimes it looks different. What did you learn in 2020, and also on the lines of answering this question, if that's okay?
So maybe my advice is to stop for a moment and think of it again.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you ask yourself what was the reason,
Mm-hmm.
um, why you did this. Maybe you made this decision in a hurry,
Mm-hmm.
and it's time to return to the source.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I want to say, even if you don't believe in God,
Mm.
I want to say that find your safe place
Yes.
and pray. You can say everything, and I'm sure you will find peace in your heart. Um, even though you were hurted by your closest relatives.
Mm.
Uh, Maybe that's why you turn away from moving forward.
Mm.
You must know that you are loved and supported by God,
Yes.
and He will hold your hand and help you if you let Him.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a best friend who always cares, even if the others stopped long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as I said earlier, you need to find a peace in your heart which let you be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I hope you will see that life is a gift
Mm-hmm.
and you have just only one life. So
Mm-hmm.
you must fight for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and what is also important, you must let the others who truly want to help, you need to let them help. You need
You
to
know,
let them save your life.
I liked what you was talking about. Like, I've been talking a bit with some of my guests about urgency in this world. Like the amount of urgency I thought would slow down with COVID. I learned to balance my life. I can be like, go, 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 go. Urgency can be toxic because sometimes we attach how productive we are to how valued we are. And
Yeah.
then another thing is, you talked about safe place. I love that. That's basically how Revive Ministries kind of went towards, because 2019 October is when I started podcasting,
Mm-hmm.
and then really I just provide a safe place. Anyone who comes on here, I just want them to feel comfortable because I know that purpose. Whether whatever faith you believe in, I'm Christian myself, and I feel it's a
Mm-hmm.
positive thing because for me, with my faith, it grounds me. Because, like I said earlier, Albert Einstein says the one constant, like basically, the measure of intelligence is the ability to change. The wonderful thing about God, in my perspective, is that He doesn't change. So He's like kind of my anchor per se. He's the one
Mm-hmm.
constant doesn't change because friends may change, life, seasons of life, all these things change, but it's nice to
Yeah.
be encouraged that you have that one constant. And then I just also I like the safe place model. I said this before to one of my guests. I said, I remember Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I know you're in Poland, but Mr. Rogers was a big thing when I was a child.
Mm-hmm.
And I love how he just made it a safe place. For me, I feel like real growth. comes from that safe place, because you bring three people who have been really hurt, have them share their story in a safe place. Nothing changes in their life tangibly or like outside looking in, but they feel better and they do better most times. We are not
Yeah.
islands, and it's interesting. And I just want to say, real quick, thank you. I said this earlier, but the willingness to share, even the some insight, I never minimize, and the commitment of my guests, and I really appreciate you coming on and sharing what it that you're comfortable with, and I'm really impressed by your by anyone who comes on to. But with that being said, I want to ask you any final thoughts as we kind of like wrap up and listen to those listening as we wrap up on this theme of springing forward and how it looks different for everyone.
Mm-hmm. So I think that I want to return to the definition of wellness,
Mm,
which says wellness is a social, mental, and physical well being.
mm-hmm.
And for me, this mental area is
Mm-hmm.
really important,
Yes.
especially nowadays.
Yes.
We can't forget about our mental health during taking care of the others.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I it's important to remember about our personal needs,
Mm-hmm.
and because we have a right to have our safe places, we have a right to feel comfortable, and it doesn't mean we are selfish.
Yes. One of my good friends, he's been on a podcast when this whole COVID-19 happened. We were like, frantically trying to see how we could still connect to our church members. I said, listen, people are not going to remember what mistakes you made. They're going to remember what you did, that you did something. That's it.
Yeah,
And I feel that in a way, it's this journey mentality that really helps me. If it was a bunch of destinations, I'll be extremely discouraged because I missed my stop 10 years ago or so, but at the same time, it's just healthy balance. And, I like how you define wellness, because it's social too. People forget that it's
yeah,
mental too. Socializing is very important. And also the idea of, this social distancing, that the coined word that everyone's saying, but really, I think sometimes people forget that it doesn't mean we don't connect. Doesn't mean we don't communicate.
yeah,
It's more of like a physical distancing. But again, I just want to say thank you, Veronica, for coming on. And I just want to share with those who are watching real quick that if you want to stay updated to all things Revive Ministries, there's various platforms, but one notable is our website, reviveministriesfl.com. This is goodbye from Revive Ministry podcast, leaving you with this last quote. And it's from George Bernard Shaw. It says, "A life spent making mistakes is is not only more honorable, but more useful than a life spent in doing nothing." George Bernard Shaw.